Hey y'all, it's me, your favorite pimp, Ty. Welcome to another Lessons Learned from a Pimp. So let's get into it. All right. All right. So today, our very special guest is Dr. Deborah Johnson Blake, aka Dr. DJ, or the Time Management Diva. This is my girl.
Yes.
So Dr. DJ, okay, much like Dr. Kim, every woman, right? She does a little bit of everything. She's a personal and professional development training and time management coach. You are a keynote speaker, a best-selling author. You're an award-winning associate professor at Liberty University, and you hold a lot of other titles, including being a SME in servant leadership, which I consider myself a servant leader. You also serve on numerous boards.
I do.
Right?
I do.
So tell us about some of the boards that you serve on. I don't want to do you any injustice.
Oh my goodness. Well, as she said, I am a servant leader, and I just happen to be a subject matter expert at Liberty. And so part of my service, of course, is serving on boards in my community. And we're in the Douglas County community, which I absolutely love. One of the boards that I serve on is Partners in Education of Douglas County.
Okay.
That's where we partner with local businesses and organizations who want to give back to the Douglas County school system. So we support those students, especially those underserved who may not be able, or their families, to get certain resources that they need to be successful.
Okay.
So for instance, if a student needs a pair of glasses, maybe their grades have gone down, or they really can't see the board. If they're working with their counselor, or their teachers notice something like that, they know they can go to the counselors and say, hey, this student probably needs their eyes checked or need a new pair of glasses. Is there any way we can help? And they say, yes, we're going to reach out to the Partners in Education of Douglas County.
Okay.
And if we have those resources, we will pay for that for them.
Oh.
We'll pay for things such as SAT tests for those students who may not be able to do it. So that particular board is dear to my heart, because we're definitely giving back to our students, and they're our emerging leaders, our future leaders that's going to be leading us. So we want to make sure they have the tools and the resources to be successful. Another board that I serve on is Beyond the Front Porch. I think we talked a little bit about that before we went live. And for that board, we take students beyond their front porch. So it's on field trips, basically.
Okay.
And so we always we need sponsors, we need partners to help us with that, because that's expensive. Chartering a bus to go across different state lines is expensive. So I just want to say out there, if you want to donate, please, Beyond the Front Porch or Partners in Education. But those experiences are opportunities for them and their families to learn. And so what they're learning in a classroom, we will take them beyond their front porch to even learn more about it. So if it's science, it's math, things of that nature. And so the people who are involved in that do it because they love it.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I love everything about servant leadership, and I love everything about your heart and how you are actually out in the community and you are making a difference each and every day. So beautiful.
Thank you.
So, Dr. DJ, we are talking all about evolution this month, right? I try to keep a theme going, but personal evolution, professional evolution. I definitely want to touch on that. Your mantra, living life on purpose, right?
Yes.
So how has this mantra helped to shape you and help you to evolve professionally and personally?
Well, as I ponder that question and think about it, first of all, I have to say, embracing being the director of my own life. Now we know higher power, God, is going to guide it, but directing my own life and not letting others do that. And so when I'm living life on purpose, no matter who's around me, no matter if they're not, in that groove with me, I can't let that stop me. So my goals and my aspirations are mine, and I do everything that I can to achieve it. And doing so is making sure that I have the resources I need to live life on purpose and be successful. And one of the things that I do to live life on purpose is serving. It's still, it comes back full circle to serving on my terms and how I want to serve. But I will say that I'm not able to live life on purpose without people who pulled me up. Whether there's mentors, whether there's leaders who help produce the life. They're not directing, but they're producing, feeding me what I need to live life on purpose.
I love it. So I went to HBCU. I went to Winston-Salem State University in North Carolina. So their mantra is enter to learn, depart to serve. So it was always in my heart because I was mentored. I probably wouldn't have made it out of college because I was afraid, number one, to go to college. I always knew I wanted to go to college, but I was afraid once I got there. But I had an awesome mentor, Dr. Jones. Hey, Dr. Jones. And she pulled me through. So on the other side, meeting servant leaders like yourself and seeing how big your hearts are and ready to serve, that's what makes me want to go out into the community and make it such a better place. So that has been part of my evolution as a person as well.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And I have to also, when we go back to servant leadership, if I may, I think it started when I was a little girl, to be honest with you, and paying homage to my mother, who's no longer here with us. Even she used to tell me when I was a little girl, we'd walk in the streets of LA. I was born in Monterey, California, and would see a person on the street. And I knew they looked different from me, and I know they didn't look clean. And she was like, Mom, I said, Mom, can we feed that person or whatever? And she was like, is this my child? And so, of course, she would go ahead and make sure she give that person some food because her little daughter asked. So I'm wondering, it's innate in me. So it started then. Okay. And it started, through those formative years, through my teenager years, and then even as an adult. So I don't have to try hard to do it. Okay. It just comes natural.
Okay. So I like that. So it's always been in you. It's always been part of your DNA, I would say. DNA. But as you've grown and evolved into the time management diva, into Dr. DJ, how has your servant leadership evolved as well?
Well, ironically, I'm an associate professor at Liberty and I'm teaching servant leadership. That was never an aspiration, but it fell into my lap. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Yeah. And so even learning more about servant leadership itself from a Christian perspective or, just a secular perspective has been amazing in my growth. Okay. So not only do I teach and share with students, I've grown along the way too. Yeah. So I've evolved to even a more spiritual, I'm a Christian, but even more Christian, more spiritual, learning more about the Bible from a servant leadership perspective. It just made me a better overall person, and I even serve more. Okay. And I'm the type of person that people don't know that my service doesn't have to be public. A lot of times I'm behind the scenes and people don't know. Right. But that's just what I want to do. And like we said earlier, even when you're giving and you might even give your last, that's not part of your regular budget, but it always comes back. Yeah. And so I never multiply. That. It multiplies, right? It multiplies. Yes. I love it. Yes.
So just thinking about you being a professor and like you said, you're learning as you're teaching. What's one of the principles of servant leadership that you would share with the audience that you think is important, just an important foundation as they go out and they lead teams and things like that as well?
Having empathy. I think think every good leader should have empathy. Now, they all don't. Everybody doesn't have empathy. They just don't have it.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes you have to be intentional when you're leading teams. You have to know that, hey, everything's not going to be perfect all the time. Or someone may not do certain tasks the way you do it as a leader.
Right.
All you can do is teach and help them grow.
Okay.
You know. So empathy is foundational for me.
Okay.
And being compassionate.
Yeah. So, all right, leaders out there in the world, if you are not currently empathetic with your team, like, let's put that into the rotation so that you can start evolving and growing into a servant leader, or just start adapting some of those traits of a servant leader.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they will see a difference in the way their team responds to them, communicates with them, and collaborates with them even more to make sure that they are reaching the organizational goals.
Oh, okay. So tell me a little bit more about that. How servant leadership, evolutionary, I'll say, servant leadership can help managers, leaders to grow their teams.
Well, besides being empathetic and compassionate, you have to want to serve them. Even though you're the leader, you're serving your team because you're helping them grow. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes we have a team of fabulous people, right? We don't, as long as we're at that company, we don't ever want to see them leave. But however, good leaders don't hold your team back.
Right. Like being like the mama bird.
Right. You know, you have to guide them. You're putting your hands out, you know.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yes, go. You have learned everything. Now it's good for you to go. So not being selfish. You cannot be selfish as a leader or a servant leader, to me.
Yeah.
You know, serve.
Yeah.
Humility. You got to be humble.
I agree with that. That is wonderful. All right, guys, you're getting all the advice. As you have served others, how has that helped you to blossom and grow in your life as you serve others?
Well, first, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I always want to feel good. I think people in general want to feel good because they're giving.
Yeah.
And giving not only in times of challenges, but giving from the heart throughout. Yeah. You know, not just because there's a reason to give and somebody needs your assistance. And this is the weird thing about my servant leadership. I do all the things that I just talked about, but I also give in a way of being a resource to others. That's my purpose in life. Okay. And I didn't really understand it until about, and I got about 2000. I know.
Okay.
24 years ago. And I still didn't embrace it to its max until about 2015. Okay. And I tell you 2015 because I joined a coaching program called Woman University. Okay. It was an email that I got, I think it was from the South Fulton Chamber at that time. I was working at Atlanta Technical College. And my supervisor had also got the same email. And he said, I think this would be great for you. And I was a new director at the time. I was director of continuing education at Atlanta Tech. And I said, I already got it and signed up. Yeah. That happened first. Okay. Then I was in the program and I started evolving. I started speaking more because I didn't consider myself a public speaker. I was behind the scenes girl, making it happen, right? So that program pushed me to the front. It pushed me to write my first book. It pushed me to speak more. And it was so funny. I was thinking about this session tonight, and it made me think about my coach, Kathy Hood, whom I absolutely love. I called her up this morning and told her how much I appreciated what she did in 2015. And then I became a coach. Okay. Because of my evolution. Yeah. Okay. From my learnings. Yeah. Even though I was in training, so to speak, I think we're all in training because we're lifelong learners. Right. We're always trying to evolve. We're always trying to do things better than we've done it. Right. And I left her a message. She called me back and she said, Dr. DJ, that message was amazing. And having people like that in your life who are servant leaders as well. And I know everybody can't be that way. It helps you grow too.
Yeah.
Because you see what they do.
Yeah. So let's back it up to 2015 when you in that program and you started embracing certain things about yourself. How did you feel, or how did it feel?
Scary.
Yeah. Oh.
I was nervous.
Say it again. One more time.
I was fearful.
Yeah.
And even when I speak and tell people about that part of the story, I was like, I did it in fear. Didn't happen overnight. That still was part of my growth.
Yep.
But I do it in fear, and I still do things in fear. Because that's how we grow.
Yep.
Nothing is perfect. If it's not perfect, it's okay. We're going to keep it moving.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And learn from that.
Yep.
And continue to evolve.
Learned.
It's all about the lessons learned from a pimp.
Yes.
Shoot.
From a PIMP.
Yeah.
She about to be my co-host, y'all. Yeah. So the one thing that I really want everyone to understand is that when you are evolving and as you embrace your gifts, and I'm going to talk to myself right now too, is that a lot of times, most of the time, it's going to be scary, it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to make you itch. Anything that is pushing you to grow and be who you're really supposed to be here on this earth.
Woo, that stretching is hard, because some days I'm like, no. Woo. Yes, you are. No. And then now I push that off on others, because, you know, if I did it, you can do it.
Yeah. All day. I love it.
All day. You know, making the uncomfortable more comfortable for you.
Yeah.
And on that note, even when speaking, I used to look at different people. I said, oh, I want to speak like that. Oh, I love how she speaks. I love what she does or he does. And then I had to take a step back. I'm not them.
Right.
I had to learn to be myself, which I'm always authentic, but I really was really authentic and raw. I need to be who Dr. DJ is.
Yeah.
Not
embracing it.
Yeah, and embracing it.
Yeah.
And know that this is me.
Yeah.
This is what you get.
Right. Every day, all day.
Every day, all day.
Yeah, that comparison thing can really stifle you.
Stifle your evolution. Because you're busy trying to be like somebody else.
Yeah, and everyone has different fingerprints, different DNA. So there's no way in the world that we were meant, like we weren't even meant to be a replicate of anyone else. So.
Right. There's only one. You can't be that person. They already made it.
Yeah. I love it.
Evolve yourself.
Yes. Work with it. Roll with it. So we already talked about evolution making you feel uncomfortable and things like that, but then you'll also experience like those storms, right? Those storms that you go through as you're evolving, because sometimes you have to go through the testing, got to go through the fire. We know that in order to produce a diamond, you have to be put under pressure a little bit. So let's talk about a time where you had to go through a personal obstacle and how you made it through and how it refined you.
And I can tell you about a situation, but I'm going to tell you something. This is going to seem unusual. And maybe it's how I handle challenges and problems and things that come my way. I didn't have a lot of what I call challenges. Yeah, we have everyday stuff, but what I call challenges. And I used to think, I thank God. I know that's how we grow. But I said, I think He's making sure that I can move whatever out the way, not to bother me, so I can help others.
Okay.
And I say this over a 30-year period. Yes, I have challenges, but my challenges aren't horrible to me. You know what I mean? And maybe that's because I'm a strong person.
I was about to say
my mindset and everything. My mindset is strong. Yes. But I will tell you, in my young career, this is a lesson learned. And it was 1992. So where we are. You know, all my life, my young adult life.
DJ, my kids called it the 1900s. I'm like, the 1900s? What you talking about?
Probably felt like it. The evolution of technology these days.
Yes.
And speaking of that, that was part of the challenge back then. So 1992, you know, I always wanted to, well, first I wanted to be an attorney, and then I got burnt out quick in school. And I said, no, I can't do this. I did my degree in 3 years and some other things. So I said, okay, let me start slow. I'm going to be a paralegal.
Okay.
So I, took a legal assistant program, even though I had already had an undergraduate degree, but I wanted to be in a law firm. I was determined.
Okay.
So I did. Got a little experience through temporary services. Got my job, and then I worked at Pizza Hut. Yes, for years. And working at Pizza Hut, didn't even know anything about really networking and all of that.
Yeah.
But my manager, mom, kept the attorney who I ended up working for children. And he said, oh, I got somebody who's getting ready to start their new law firm, and they need somebody.
Wow.
And so that's how it started. And I absolutely loved it. But what happened was one day, you dealing with people's real lives.
Right.
Okay. The legal system is no joke. Okay. And so we had to file a complaint. We had a client, we need to file a complaint against a company within 2 years. So you have a 2-year statute of limitations to file a complaint. Well, I missed it by one day. That was my responsibility. And that's big. Because that can be malpractice, which is why, attorneys, doctors have malpractice insurance, and it costs a lot because the money's involved.
Right.
I was so devastated by that. So I'm still a servant leader. I'm still got empathy, compassion. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How did I make this mistake? So I go to my file. The complaint is there. Ready. Just needs to be signed off. So I'd already did it because I didn't know I was a time management diva back then neither, right?
In the 1900s, she was a time management diva.
So I still had my stuff, but we had the tickler system, which is like a recipe box card. You have the months, January through December, and you have the dates in there. And so you have to literally look and say, okay, January 15th, I need to file this.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Well, I looked a couple times, but the date got by me. At that time, we did have computers, but I think Microsoft was just, coming into play, and all of us didn't have it, and we had, DOS or whatever. Yeah. So I didn't have the little ping on my computer. Say, it's time for you to file that complaint.
Yes.
So
oh my goodness.
I can laugh now, and I'm sure my attorney, who since then became a judge, and a judge on TV now. But we're still friends, and I appreciate him, giving me some favor on that.
Okay.
But I did resign because I felt like I couldn't be in that office and be the person that kind of, made everything go haywire. But he got through it and all. But that was my big lesson learned. Yeah. Was to make sure that I calendar and everything. Yeah. And I think that's how I got obsessed with time management.
Yeah. Okay. I was just about to say, what
that was the foundation.
Okay. And that helped.
That helped me.
Okay.
And so from there, from making that mistake, I got my master's in public administration, but my thesis was on time management.
Oh, okay.
From a leadership perspective. I got my doctorate. And my dissertation was on nonprofit leaders and time management.
Oh, wow.
So, I got the blood, sweat, and tears and the degrees to prove it.
All right. She the real lesson learned, y'all. She took that thing real seriously. I know that's right. Yeah.
I did. It meant a lot. And that was a lesson learned.
Yeah. Tough, but it made you who you are
and
today.
I did get back into the legal field after that. I was still able to get back in there for a couple more years. A little bit later, but I just needed that time to reflect.
Yeah, but it made you who you are today.
It made me who I am today.
Oh, man, I like that story, and that was tough, but beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. DJ. So, time is up. My producer is giving me like crazy eyes right now, but I do appreciate you coming and being here and spending time with me. So I think you are a perfect person to do it. Anyone that comes on, you have to pop your collar because now you have been on Lessons Learned from a Pimp. So
pop my collar
yeah, she been on the list.
Hey. I think I can do that. Thank you so much for having me today and sharing a little bit about my story. I really appreciate it. I'm so proud of you and your success.
Thank you.
I know you're going to do even better things. So I'm excited.
Thank
Anything
you.
I can do to help you, don't hesitate to ask.
Yes, she has that big servant leadership heart. So I'm All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us. And remember to embrace every lesson learned, because it is definitely a building block to your success. Peace.